tell us some off, bro. We seen the display the other day when she walked past reporters with her face up against the wall like this. Like she ain't want to talk to nobody. Well, I'm here to tell you, we finally get locker room footage. Now, this is something that we have not seen throughout this entire tournament. Videos of what is going down inside Team USA locker room.
239 days off the court, 6 months of straight grind, rehab, pain, and people already whispering she's not coming back the same. But then Caitlin Clark steps into San Juan, Puerto Rico for her Team USA debut and flips the entire script in one night. I'm talking 5 world records in her very first game, before most fans even realized history was being made. That's not just a comeback, that's straight savage. But here's where it gets crazy, because that historic night, that wasn't even the real story. What happened next is where things start to feel off. Strange rotations, questionable bench time, a press conference that dodged more questions than it answered, and then a head coach suddenly gone with games still left. And the moment a new coach stepped in, one simple, almost obvious adjustment, and boom, the most dominant performance of the entire tournament. Now the basketball world is trying to piece it all together, because the deeper you go, the less this feels like coincidence. Something doesn't add up, and if you're already feeling that, trust me, you're not the only one. Stick with me, because what happens next is where everything starts to unravel. Check this out.
That Caitlin Clark is stuck on the outside looking in, and I feel like I have an idea why. Be honest with you guys, I believe there's some agenda going on. I believe Kara Lawson is back coaching Duke, the head coach of Team USA. She wasn't even there today. She wasn't even present, okay? I believe Nate Tibbetts was told, you do not start Caitlin Clark. Chelsea Gray is the starter no matter what.
That clip right there, yeah, it hits different when you know what she had already been through. Because to really understand why Puerto Rico felt so heavy, you got to rewind a few months before any of this even started. Caitlin Clark didn't just walk into that 2026 Team USA camp with hype. She walked in carrying pressure, doubt, and a body that had just survived a brutal 6-month rehab grind. And let's be clear, this wasn't some casual off-season reset. This was a serious injury that kept dragging on, setbacks stacking up before things even started to turn around. No clear timeline, no guarantees, no finish line in sight, just daily work, pain management, and straight mental toughness. That kind of process, it either breaks you, or builds something different. So when she showed up to camp, she kept it real. No fake confidence, no PR talk, she admitted she needed time. Time to get her lungs back, time to find her rhythm, time to sharpen that competitive edge you only get from real game action, not drills, not rehab representatives. And that honesty, that's where the story starts to shift, because what happened next didn't exactly match that reality. Watch this.
The build up to games is probably the hardest part. Like once you're in the game and you're playing and you're flowing, like you don't think or realize anything else. It's almost the build up to get to that point. So I think that's kind of for me, like getting back in kind of that routine of how you prepare on game days and things like that. But I think after the first and second game, it will be like second nature, like it's always been. So more than anything, just really excited to be here.
Once you start those games, it's 5 games in 7 days. Yeah. Just how are you going to ramp up to that and just make sure?
I guess we're going to find out like really quickly, like what type of shape I'm in. And
that's the part that had everybody in the gym doing double takes, right? No one questioned it. Vets watching practice couldn't even look away. And still, Caitlin Clark stayed locked in, humble, almost too real about her situation. She knew she'd been out 239 days. She knew she wasn't fully back yet, and that's exactly why what happened next doesn't even make sense. Because the moment she touched that international stage, everything flipped. Players spend entire careers chasing ONE record, just one night where everything clicks. But Clark, she went out there and shattered 5 in under 20 minutes. Not across a tournament, not over multiple games. One appearance, off the bench, still finding her rhythm, still rebuilding her lungs, at least that's what we were told. And that's when it stopped feeling like a normal comeback. Nah, this was something else entirely. Because if this is her at 70%, then what does 100% even look like? And more importantly, why did what came after feel like the brakes were suddenly slammed? Yeah, this is where it starts getting real uncomfortable. Take a look at this.
Overall, a good game. The entire game changed the minute she got in there, as every game does usually. Caitlin Clark has a problem. Caitlin Clark has a problem. Number one, she's too good. She's running circles around people. She can drop 30, 40 on your head. She can give you 15, 18 assists if everybody catches and scores. She's a problem. She changes the entire pace of games. It's ridiculous. And then on top of being good, she's also global. She's iconic.
That sequence you just saw? Yeah, that wasn't normal basketball, that was control. So let's really break down what happened against Segal, because the details hit way harder than the headline. Caitlin Clark didn't ease into her Team USA moment, she took over it instantly. First 3 touches of her entire senior national career. 3 assists. No warm-up jumper, no feeling it out, just straight playmaking, right out the gate. And at that point, the stat guys weren't even watching the game anymore, they were scrambling, pulling up record books in real time because what they were seeing didn't fit ANY existing category. By the final buzzer, 5 records, gone. Just like that. Team USA wins by 64, and in any normal basketball universe, that performance tells you one thing loud and clear: this is the engine. This is who the offense runs through. Everybody else. You adjust around her. Because she didn't just play well, she turned a regular qualifying game into a straight-up history lesson. And that's exactly why what happened next makes people scratch their heads even more, because instead of doubling down on that dominance, something very different happened. Watch this.
Start the game.
I thought it was good. I thought we started off a little slow. I thought our second unit came in, it was really good, and then I thought overall in the second half we were pretty good.
Returning back since July, how's your body feeling? You got a lot of rhythm.
Feel good. Obviously, 5 games in 7 days is a true test and see where my body's at, but so far I feel really good.
Playing at a national level, although first time, how has it been so far with the fans here in Puerto Rico?
It's been great. I thought our game, especially versus Puerto Rico at 8 p.m., was a really fun one for us. The fans have been great. Fans that have come from America have been awesome. So anytime you get to put this jersey on, I think it's a really fun thing. You take a lot of pride in it.
Yeah, that shift you just saw? That's where the confusion really starts to kick in. Because instead of building around that historic explosion, the very next game flips the script. Caitlin Clark is back on the bench, while Chelsea Gray, no doubt a proven, elite guard who earned her spot, continues to start. And from that moment, the rotations under Kara Lawson start getting hard to read. Minutes. Inconsistent. Touches. All over the place. And here's the part that really stands out. The offense that looked electric the second Clark stepped on the floor suddenly slows down. The ball sticks more. The flow disappears. It's like you're watching 2 completely different teams depending on who's running the show. Then comes that Puerto Rico game, and honestly, it tells you everything without saying a word. No blowout this time. No rhythm. Passes off target, pace dragging, stretches that look nothing like the squad that just dropped a 64-point statement days earlier. And now the question gets louder. If the formula already worked, why change it? Because what happens next? That's where this situation goes from confusing to straight up impossible to ignore. Stay with me.
All right, Nate Tibbetts took the podium today to address things about the game. Caitlin Clark not starting. I believe there's some agenda behind this. Let's make this very clear. Chelsea Gray has started all 3 games. We have seen Angel restart games, Paige Becker start, Kelsey Plum started, Jackie Young started. We've seen everybody start. I think Stephanie White started one of the games. It's been absolutely ridiculous. We watched Kiki Iriafin get a start. It's only a couple games left. They said that they was rotating everybody into starting lineup and doing this and doing.
And that right there, that's where everything goes from confusing to straight up undeniable. Because let's be real, the opponent wasn't the issue. Puerto Rico is solid, but not nearly strong enough to make a stacked Team USA roster look lost. So when they rolled out a box and one, that tells you everything. That's a defensive scheme you ONLY use when one player is that dangerous. And who were they locking in on? Caitlin Clark. Think about that. The opposing coach built his entire game plan around stopping Clark, while her OWN system wasn't even fully running through her. That disconnect. Fans saw it instantly. And when Kara Lawson got asked the most obvious question about Clark's role, the answer danced around everything but the truth. Talent wasn't the question. This roster was loaded. Paige Buchers, Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, Ryan Howard, Aaliyah Boston. We know there's talent. The real question was simple. Why isn't your most productive player the engine? And then it gets deeper, because this wasn't just a one-game thing. The same pattern. You've seen it before with Stephanie White in the WNBA. Slow the pace, move Clark off ball, limit the chaos she creates. One coach does it. Philosophy. Two coaches tied to the same player doing it. Now it starts to feel coordinated. But here's where the entire story flips on its head, because while all this is happening, Lawson isn't even fully locked in. She's splitting focus with Duke, already on a countdown to leave before the tournament even ends. So now you've got a system that's inconsistent, a coach who's halfway out, and a team that doesn't look like itself. And then, boom, everything changes. Nate Tibbett steps in. No speeches. No overthinking. He looks at the roster, identifies the best player, and starts Clark. Simple. And the result? Absolute destruction. 55-point blowout. Offense flowing, spacing perfect, pace relentless. Ryan Howard goes off, Clark controls the game, and suddenly, everybody looks comfortable again. That's not coincidence, that's clarity. And by the end of the week, Clark didn't just make noise, she made history. 14 world records. Tournament MVP. Youngest ever to do it. The same player who needed time, who came off the bench, who was being managed. Once the ceiling got removed, the results spoke loud. And the craziest part. She said nothing the entire time. No drama, no complaints, just straight production. That silence. Way louder than any press conference. Because when you're breaking records like that, nobody can argue you're the problem. Now the whole basketball world is locked on one question, heading into the WNBA season with the Indiana Fever. Are they gonna unleash her, or hold her back again? Because now we've seen both versions. One creates hesitation, the other creates history. And the gap between them? It's not small, it's 55 points, 14 records, and an MVP trophy. So here's the deal, if you really understand what just happened, you already know this story is far from over. The next chapter is about to hit different, and you do not want to miss it. Hit subscribe right now, turn on notifications, and drop your take in the comments, because when the season tips off, all eyes are going to be on one thing. What version of Caitlin Clark are we about to get?